Hello and thank you for watching. This is Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano. This is video 3 of the Solfeggietto, and in this video we're going to be doing the final transition section. I'll just play the first part of it so you know where we're at. That section. And then that will go all the way until the last iteration. So let's start with measure 21. If you look up above, this is the original manuscript, and you can see that it's notated all together in 4 groups of 16th notes. When you look at this in your modern music, you will normally see left hand playing 1 note and right hand playing 3 notes. I don't think that there's a lot of variety in the fingering here. What I like to do with the right hand is 5-2-1, 4-2-1, 4-2-1, 5-2-1, or you could do 4-2-1 at the end as well. So it's just F minor chord inversions. And then the left hand, generally I think what works best is 2, 1, 2, 4. One thing to be aware of is you want to make sure your left hand is ready with finger 2 to interrupt the right hand scale. So the right hand's coming down the measure before, and it would normally go back up and play that too, but the left hand's going to take over and do that. So most editors and myself, I also choose to crescendo here. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing it. One way of doing the crescendo is having the hands be very equal. And then the second way, I'm going to bring out the left hand a little bit louder to point out. It's leading F minor to that major key. Okay, so I'll start one measure before. To bring out the left hand, it would sound like this. When I made the left hand a little bit louder, I also made it a little bit more detached. So it would be short, smooth, short, smooth. So try both of those, see which fits with your method of interpretation. And now let's move to measures 22 and 23. You might have noticed I played an octave for that D flat. About half the editions have single notes, as does the manuscript, and about half of the editions have octaves. I'm not really sure about how the octave practice came about, and I haven't really been able to find it. So if anyone knows, please leave it in the comments for all of us to understand. I'll show you both ways, but let's go over the harmony first because it's kind of interesting. So in the right hand, we have this little pattern, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, outlining this D flat chord with a bunch of neighbor tones. Neighbor, upper neighbor, lower neighbor. And then left hand switches to C. Same pattern with the right hand, but because that switches to C, now we have an F minor chord in second inversion, so different chord, different color, same fingering here, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Then the right hand pattern here outlines more of a diminished chord. Let's see what it is. 5, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. So if we take out the passing tone, so the G wouldn't be in the chord, and the E flat wouldn't be in the chord. Get rid of that D. Move this all down here. We have a B diminished chord, which is in turn going to lead to a C minor chord, so that's good placement for a B diminished. So let's go over measure 25 fingering for the first 2 beats first, and then we'll get to the trill. 2, 3, 5, here's your C minor chord, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then probably 3 is the best to cross over with. So then you can do your trill or your turn or whatever you want to do. Before I go over the trills, let's just go over the left hand fingering. It's going to be most likely 4, 2, 1, 5, or if you've done the octaves, you have your octave, then you're going to lift 2, 1, 5. Okay. Okay, now let's go over the ornament for measure 25. You hear it lots of different ways. I would say just choose one that you like. Okay, so I'm going to show you them in order of how many notes the ornament actually is. So the first one is just a 2-note ornament. It's going to happen kind of like a grace note. In fact, some versions even write it as a grace note. It's just going to be D, E flat, D. And in context, it will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'd put the first D with the left hand G. Ornament number 2, 5 notes. D, E flat, D, C, D. So we're holding on to the E flat, and then the D, the first D, will come with the G, and it will end on the and. So it will sound like this. 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Option 3 is going to have 7 notes, and we're going to add an extra D and E flat at the beginning. So we're holding that E flat once again. We're going to play the left hand G, and then we're going to have the 7 notes. So it's going to sound like this. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and that one kind of goes into the next. One thing you want to really make sure that you do is observe the half note rests in the right hand. So we're keeping the rhythm all the way through this. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. Let's go over now pacing and dynamics for measures 22 through 25. In the manuscript, Bach actually writes the piano and forte markings we see in measures 23 and 24. And as I mentioned before, generally we crescendo those descending F minor chords into that first D flat chord. We're going to do blocks of forte and piano, forte, with maybe a little crescendo at the end. So it's going to sound like this. So we have forte, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crescendo. And then again, he does write piano in the score. Let me play that a little more quickly, adding the octaves this time. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, soft. 2, 3, 4, loud. 2, 3, 4. And then one other tradition in terms of the pacing, often there might be a small retard at the end of measure 26. That's usually how I play it. I think that sounds nice. So that would sound something like this. Just a little bit of a lift before going into the next section. So now let's go over the next section. We've seen pattern like this before. Let's just go over the chords first. I'm going to block them together, and I'd actually suggest that you do this as well, because then you're going to find how your hands want to lie and what fingering feels best. So we have E flat and C, 5, 1, G. So back to our C minor chord. Moving down, D, B, G, F. Again, I think best if the left hand is on top. 5, 1, 1, 5, 1. And then here, 5, 1, 1, 4 is better, I think, for this one. C7. Beats 3 and 4, generally the fingering's gonna be 2, 1 for the left hand, and you're gonna pop up 1, 5. If your hands are extremely large, you could use 2, 5 there, but I think 1, 5 is a little safer. We're going at an angle there. Then keep your left hand on top, moving down to B flat and A flat, so right hand can sneak underneath with F and D. Again, 5, 1, 1, 5, 1. Left hand squeezes, E flat 7, E flat G, D flat, B flat. Again, that 1, 5. And then here, so then we have this chord, A flat, E flat, C, F sharp. Sounds like a 7th chord, dominant 7, but it's actually called something else. It's called a German 6, a certain kind of augmented 6 chord that a lot of the composers used to transition from section to section. So that's what this chord is. I'm going to recommend that you keep your right hand on top, even though you technically could do it both ways, but it's just a little tricky to come from black keys to underneath. It's easier to stay on this higher plane. So fingering wise, right hand's going to remain in the 1-5 arena. Left hand could either do 1-4, 1-5, or 1-5, 1-5. Either of those work well. Remember, in this particular pattern, the left hand's going to be played quite short, so you have plenty of time to move to your next position. All right, so let's go over that transition one more time. So we're coming from the end of 28, and then it lands here. Articulation for measures 26 to 29, we'll do it very similar to what we did before, with touch back and forth, kind of hands on the keys, like that. Left hand's going to be short, bringing out the top note. Hear that little chromatic line? We want to hear that. And then here, not chromatic anymore. All right. Dynamics in the original manuscript are specified starting on measure 27. Most modern editors do start measure 26 soft. So let's go over that dynamic. Surprise, soft, surprise, soft, surprise. Notice that even within these dynamics, I'm playing my left hand a tiny bit louder because this is our main melody. So finally, measure 30. Let's go over harmony and fingering. Left hand, we've got 5-1. That's going to be more of a staccato. 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. C minor chord, root position. Now we're going to do another version of that C minor chord. Second inversion, 5, 3, 2, 1. Left hand's going to move down to G with 5. Right hand's going to scoot kind of next door with a G7 chord. So we got G, D, B, F, and then resolving to finger 2 and the final pattern. Technique wise, you can do circle with under, over, then just half a circle, grab it, over, grab it, and then over. Couple of options with dynamics. You'll see a lot of additions that kind of fade down here. This would be the high point, then fading, and then you can have a crescendo to the end, or you might consider just going loud and then starting however you like. So I'm going to do 2 playthroughs. One is going to be at more moderate tempo at 80, and then I'll go ahead and do it at 120. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, now I'm going to move it up to 120. A little bit faster playthrough. 1, 2, ready, and. So just keep working on it and have a lot of fun while you are doing it. That's the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support of my channel, whether that be sharing with other people who enjoy this style of teaching, subscribing, donating, or spreading the word in other ways. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time to learn this great piece. It's a really, really fun piece to play. I sincerely love to hear how music can bring us together from all over the globe, and that's why I always ask where you're from. So as always, thank you for watching.